The stars had already begun to fade when you stepped out of the quiet cottage nestled among the hills. The morning air was still cool, carrying with it the faintest scent of wood smoke and lavender. Around you, the world was hushed, not quite asleep, but not yet awake. You took a long, slow breath in and closed your eyes. The weight of the day ahead hadn't arrived. There was only this moment, the stillness before movement, the pause before a story begins. Beside the door, your lantern flickered to life, glowing with a soft golden hue. You reached for it, feeling the warmth of the handle against your palm, and stepped onto the path that stretched out ahead, winding through the trees like a quiet invitation. The road wasn't made of stone or gravel, but of packed earth and moss, softened by generations of gentle travelers. Your boots made no sound as you walked, only the rhythmic crunch of a few fallen leaves beneath your feet, and the distant cooing of an early bird stirred in the brush. You approached slowly, the scent of dried herbs, baked apples, and cedar rising with each step. Before you could knock, the door creaked open on its own, revealing a warm interior filled with tapestries, dried flowers, books, and lanterns hung like stars on the ceiling. An older woman sat at the center table, stirring a mug of tea. She looked up, her eyes bright and kind beneath silver lashes. "You're right on time," she said softly, her voice like a lullaby in itself. "The road is ready for you." You stepped inside, and the warmth wrapped around you like a heavy blanket on a cold evening. She handed you a small cloth pouch, tied with twine, and motioned for you to take a seat. You did, letting the tension in your shoulders ease for the first time all week. "This is not a journey of distance," she continued. "It's one of remembering, of dreaming awake." You nodded, though you didn't yet fully understand. The mug in your hands was warm and smelled of honey, lavender, and something earthy you couldn't place. She lifted her lantern, brighter than your own, and led you through the back of the caravan. A door there opened not to the world outside, but to another path, this one dimly lit and lined with glowing stones and low, arching trees whose leaves shimmered silver in the low light. The caravan was gone. The field was gone. Even the woman had faded softly into the background. Only the path remained. Your path. You took your first step forward, the lantern in your hand flickering in approval. The stones beneath your feet glowed softly with each footfall, pulsing like a heartbeat in time with your own. The air changed here, not colder, but different. It smelled of rain and old pages, like a place that remembered everything you'd ever forgotten. A breeze whispered through the trees, bringing with it the echo of distant voices. Soft laughter, lullabies, and words you couldn't quite grasp, but knew in your bones. You walked slowly, letting the sounds and scents wash over you. There was no rush. Each step was intentional, each breath a gentle unfolding. Eventually the trees opened again, revealing a moonlit glen. In the center stood a shallow pond, perfectly still. Its surface mirrored the sky above, stars, clouds, and the first blush of morning light forming a dreamscape that rippled only when you exhaled. You sat by the edge, dipping your fingers into the cool water. The reflection changed, revealing glimpses of childhood memories. A candlelit birthday, a book read under blankets, the gentle voice of someone long gone. The images shimmered and passed like clouds, not demanding your attention, only offering comfort. The glen was wrapped in quiet. You lay back against the soft grass, letting your body melt into the earth. The glow from your lantern set the grass around you alight in soft gold, but your eyes slowly closed, the weight of the journey settling into your bones. Above, the sky slowly brightened, not yet day, but no longer night. And you were somewhere between memory and dream, body and breath, earth and sky. Part 2 was waiting, but not yet. For now, you rested, and the world rested with you. The sky above remained painted in gradients of deep blue and charcoal. A thin mist clung to the edges of the trees, curling around the trunks like fingers unwilling to let go of the night. Your lantern cast a circle of light that moved gently with each step, dancing along roots, stones, and patches of dew-drenched grass. As you walked, the trees began to thin. The forest opened into a vast field, blanketed in tall grass and dotted with wildflowers swaying ever so slightly in the morning breeze. A soft hush filled the space. Not silence, but the peaceful quiet that only lives between dawn and daylight. In the middle of the field stood a wooden caravan, its wheels half sunken into the earth, its windows glowing faintly from within. Smoke curled gently from a small chimney on top, and you could hear the clinking of glass, the soft shuffle of movement, and the low hum of a lullaby being sung inside. As you stepped into the forest once more, the fireflies rose behind you like a farewell chorus, fading gently into the canopy above. The wind brushed past you in slow waves, cool and fragrant with pine and something sweeter, maybe lavender or the memory of summer rain. The sky above was beginning to shift again, melting from midnight into a soft pre-dawn violet. The first hints of a new day rippled across the horizon like watercolor, and the stars blinked out one by one, as if giving you privacy to walk the final stretch in peace. You passed a familiar willow tree, its branches hanging like green silk around a quiet stone bench. Crystal chimes tinkled once as you passed. Not a song this time, but a single deliberate note, like the closing line of a poem. Ahead, the forest began to thin. The trees stood farther apart, and the ground became soft with moss and morning dew. Your lantern pulsed again, a quiet invitation to slow down, to breathe, to feel the way the journey had gently softened something inside you. And there, at the edge of the trees, was the caravan, just as it had been, wooden wheels nestled in the earth, smoke curling from the chimney, golden light glowing in the window. But this time, the door was already open. Inside, the older woman stood exactly as before, though something in her eyes had changed. She didn't look surprised, only content, like a gardener seeing the first bloom of spring. "You returned," she said simply. You nodded and stepped inside. The warmth wrapped around you again, familiar now, safe. She poured you a fresh cup of tea without asking. You noticed the scent had changed slightly, still floral and honeyed, but now with a new depth, something earthy, like rosemary or memory. You sat across from her, and the silence between you wasn't awkward or empty. It was full of all the things that didn't need to be said. She leaned forward and gently touched the top of your lantern. The flame inside shifted, glowing briefly blue, then white, then soft gold once more. "This light," she said, "is no longer just for finding the path. Now it holds the path within it." You looked down and saw that your reflection in the lantern's glass was no longer alone. The places you had walked shimmered faintly in the light. The willow tree, the grove, the valley of lanterns. They had all come with you, not as burdens, but as gifts. "You won't forget this journey," she added, "even when you wake, even when the day becomes loud and heavy again." You set the lantern down beside you, and for the first time, you realized you were ready. Not to rush forward, not to chase the next path, but to be still, to rest, truly rest, knowing that the road had changed you gently and forever. Outside, the first birds began to sing, not loudly, just a few scattered notes in the trees, the kind of sound that reminds you that day is coming, but there's still time to linger in the peace before it arrives. The woman stood and walked to the back of the caravan, opening a curtain you hadn't noticed before. Behind it was a bed made of thick blankets and woven quilts, nestled into the curve of the caravan's wall like a nest. "You may rest here," she said. "There's no need to rush. Morning always finds those who've earned their rest." You didn't hesitate. You lay down slowly, letting the soft fabric wrap around you like the forest had earlier. Your lantern rested beside the bed, still glowing, still with you. As your eyes grew heavier, you heard the woman humming again. The same lullaby from before, though now it sounded older. Not sad, just full. The hum faded with the light as your breathing slowed. Your thoughts drifted one last time through the willow branches, the rippling pond, the stones beneath your feet. You didn't need to hold on to any of it. The story would stay with you, tucked safely inside your lantern, inside your breath, inside the silence between each heartbeat. You had walked the path. You had remembered. And now, at last, you rested. The caravan rocked gently as the wind moved outside. The last stars faded quietly. The world turned slowly toward morning. And you slept.